Welcome to The Universe is Screaming, the podcast about the knowledge, power, and wisdom the universe is trying to show us. Are you listening? It's time to tune everything else out and tune you in. Here's your host, Alan Miller. Man, it's been a long time. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Alan Miller, and I am a mindset coach. I'm also a motivational speaker and a veteran broadcaster. I spent 21 years, just over 21 years, as part of a morning radio team in Las Vegas on KOMP. And I wasn't really going to jump into the podcast arena anytime soon. This COVID-19 situation, this virus has kind of pushed me out there, and I'll tell you, my awakening started probably 1987 when I was leaving the Midwest for the West Coast, and my parents loaded me up with self-help books, including Think and Grow Rich and Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Wayne Dyer, Norman Vincent Peale, just Dale Carnegie. I mean, like, add up the list, and I had about 10 of them. And so that being said, it really, really opened up my mind to the possibilities to create something different for myself. And mindset just fascinated me. And so fast forward to about 1993 is I landed up going to broadcasting school because it was just one of those things that really, really interested me. And I'm actually a musician as well. So I wanted to be close to music and be involved in music. And through listening to radio as a young guy, I just loved radio. I listened to WLS AM when I was a kid. And there was a morning show called Larry Lujak and Little Tommy, and they were very inspirational. And somebody that was a clown like me could get around pretty well in the radio arena. And so I took my music and my silliness and my willing to get along with others and work and have a good time to broadcasting school. And after broadcasting school, I got a job within a very short time. And so that's not the whole part of the story, but I'm just going to kind of leave it there, because morning radio afforded me the opportunities to, after we were done with our shows and our show prep, just to spend the rest of the day on things that I loved, which was music and spirituality and my awakening, my own personal awakening. And so what I'm here to share with you guys is 3 immunity hacks to help you guys crush this COVID-19 virus. And man, it is a horrible thing. And if I could do anything, I would share whatever I could to help the people, not only on the front line, but family and friends. And so I'm encouraging that you guys share this. If you find it of a benefit, share to as many people as you can. And so we tried to go live, by the way, on Facebook like 3 times or 4 times this morning, and it just kept cutting us off. So I'm just going to go ahead and just record this live on Zoom. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in our podcasting, which is on Anchor, and you can spread it around the world. And so throughout the years, I've been able to be in different circles, some very spiritual, some not, and be around some people that are health workers or even people that were just health nuts. And so I just want to share with you these 3 hacks for your immunity. because it's feels like it's that important. And so, um, number one, it sounds simple, but baking soda, um, 1 teaspoon in a 8-ounce glass of water. Now, once a day. I'll tell you how I heard about baking soda and why it raises your immunity. Um, Number one, it is one of those things that people have used for, their stomachs, having an upset stomach. And what it does, it cuts down on the acid, and so it brings up your alkalinity. And so what they're talking about was with COVID-19 is that the biggest problem is not necessarily the virus, but it's your body's immune response to the virus. And so when people would get the COVID-19, what would happen is their body would just swell up, would just inflame. And so what I'll tell you is that um, baking soda will stop inflammation. And how do I know this? Well, I learned this trick from actually a friend's mother who happened to be a really really super healthy person. She had an uncle that was 95 years old when he passed, who had been taking baking soda once a day in the morning, and he would just take just a half a glass of water and just a teaspoon of baking soda and swish it around and then just drink it. And so I want you guys, I want to add a disclaimer here. Um, take anything I tell you, take with a grain of salt, and I mean, take it seriously, but certainly do your own personal research. If you're somebody uh, that has kidney issues or any other kind of underlying health issues, or you're taking any prescription drugs or anything like that, please, please, please do your research. Ask your doctor and see if it's okay. Um, and I mean, what I'd heard about getting sorry getting back to this guy, this my friend's mother's uncle who made it to 95, was that he looked like he was 20 to 30 years younger, and he moved like he was 20 to 30 years younger. So, and we also know that inflammation is a massive massive problem in the United States. It's our food, it's our water. A lot of things are acidic. It's air pollution. I mean, there's all kinds of things that help us get inflamed. And so I will tell you is that I had a really weird flu twice. And the first one was in November. I was coming back from a conference that I was speaking at in Austin, Texas. And as soon as I walked into the airport, I sneezed. Um, and, we all touch things in the airports without even thinking about it: escalators, doors, going to the restrooms. Hopefully you wash your hands after you go to the restroom, but the point of it is you're touching doors in and out. So, but I caught it was just a weird cold for about a week. It wasn't too bad. It was pretty mild. It kind of just felt like it was in my chest, but I wasn't able to really get anything up, that kind of thing. And also traveling in January. So January 11th is when I was in Northwest Indiana visiting family. And so in I was in Northwest Indiana for a celebration of life for my aunt. And my father and I were traveling. And when we were on our way to Chicago, to Midway, there is my father caught some little cold on the plane, and he said, "This guy, these people are coughing, and I got a cold." And I ended up getting locked in a in a hotel room with my dad for 3 days. Not really, but we spent the time for 3 days as we were there. The other thing is we flew the red eye, so we flew the red eye to Chicago, and we missed the day of sleep, or not an evening of sleep. So of course, your immunity is going to be down a little bit. So my father and I, um, man, it was close quarters there. And so I thought after 3 days of him coughing and us getting through the celebration of life, that I was going to be okay. And I'll be darned, as soon as I landed in back in Las Vegas, I woke up. I had that tickle in my throat. I woke up the next day, and I had a very, very strange cough, and I'd never had like this kind of a flu. And I'll tell you, I had it for 6 weeks. The honest to God truth is, I had it for 6 weeks, and um, there was a point of where it did attack my joints, of where my body's response to inflammation was crazy. And by the time I got it under control and I started taking the baking soda, my knees and my joints were so inflamed that that it took the baking soda quite a while to get it down. But I was able to get the inflammation down within a couple days from the baking soda. So I actually took a little bit of a higher dose. I took a teaspoon with about 8 ounces of water, and 3 times a day, and so it definitely helped. And so I want to share that. So about inflammation, it also brought up the alkalinity in my body. And so I know about baking soda because for many, many years, for about 10 years now, I get a touch of gout. So I'm one of these guys that I like my red meat, and I don't get a lot of exercise, but certainly that's helped within hours. And so I want you guys to share that if you feel the need, because it's something that's so simple. It's something that's so cheap. It's something that could help so many people, but we just don't think of it because it's not a quote pharmaceutical drug. Well, certainly something that brings down your inflammation and brings up your alkalinity would certainly help you and help your immune system fight off this disease or any other disease out there. And so um, there's a lot of research on baking soda all over the internet. So please do your research. So that's my number one hack that I wanted to share with you guys. And so when I run in the strange groups that I do, I have a lot of people that are always trying to next level themselves. And so they're always uh, full of great information about things. So you never know who you're going to speak to, who's going to give you uh, an immunity hack, or a biohack, or a mindset hack. You just never know. But the second thing I want to share with you is hydrogen peroxide. Simple. It's $1 or $2, food grade hydrogen peroxide. And so I worked for a little bit over 21 years. I told you guys, with a radio station group, Lotus Broadcasting, for a little bit over 21 years. And my boss was one of these guys who was just never sick. He was never sick, and he was never sick. And he kind of used to give us all a little bit of a ration for not making it into work when we were sick. Say, I don't understand why you guys get sick. I don't understand why you guys get sick. And finally, one morning I came in, and I saw him in the break room, and I wasn't feeling well. And he said, "What's going on?" Oh man, I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna grab a little tea and get back to the show. And he said, the, the reason I'm not sick is because I take a capful of hydrogen peroxide every day, and I gargle it. Now, Google this. He swallowed it every day. He just swallowed a capful. He says, it's not going to hurt you. It just runs down the back of your throat. Now, I didn't have not really ever taken it to that extreme. I don't trust it that much, but I know it's safe to gargle with. And so you can dilute it and gargle with it. And so if you have something within that's coming on, something in your throat, something that you feel, just Google it. With the uh, do the little bit of research on it, and you'll find out that it's really just not going to hurt you, but it's going to help you. And so this guy was one of those guys. He would, um, God, he would work like 12, sometimes 15-hour days, and just never have a problem with immunity. And he was flying red eyes a lot, and just odd hours and flying all over the country and to different Washington D.C. and different other stations that we owned throughout the country. And he, by the way, the guy traveled an awful lot overseas, and so never got sick. I never even saw a sniffle out of that guy in just over 21 years, and so like take that into account. And so when I was sick this past uh, time, and it was 6 weeks, and it was rough. I didn't expect it, and the good thing about, I guess, about getting ill or getting sick is that um, you get a chance to make some changes. And so, did I make some changes? Yeah, I did make some changes. And so, I'm 10x in my veggies. I'm way, I'm 10% of what I used to eat as far as meats, that kind of thing. And I've dropped some weight, and I feel great. So it's there are those opportunities. Um, and so, man, it just feels crazy. Normally, when we did our show before, there was 3 to 5 people in the room, and so God, it's you always had somebody to bounce off of. And so now I'm just talking to me, myself, and I. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I will have guests on the shows. Um, and like I said, I run into just some amazing people at masterminds and other mindset coaches and other people that are into health and wealth and fitness and spirituality. And so I plan to load up our calendar in the next short while here. But for right now, and I think it's just that important, is that I share this. In fact, um, too many people just don't know about the simple things. We just think that if it comes from a drug company or that kind of thing, that if we take it, then that's going to get rid of the problem. And the truth is that if you're worried about COVID-19, they say that the vaccine and those kinds of things. I mean, I know that there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about vaccines, and there's the anti-vax uh, movement and that kind of thing. But I mean, that stuff's 18 months away. And so, I mean, obviously be smart, wash your hands, do all the things that they're talking about, but think of out of the box solutions. And so I just gave you 2 of them there. So 1, baking soda, 2, little hydrogen peroxide. And man, I think when I checked at the store the other day, is there was not a run on hydrogen peroxide. There was not a run on baking soda. There was plenty of that out there. So, you know, Walmart, Sam's Club, Dollar General, HEB, wherever you go, Albertsons, Smith's, they're going to have baking soda. They're going to have hydrogen peroxide. And so, if you really, really want uh, to boost your immune system, that those are 2 things that'll help. And so the third thing I'm going to share with you is a breathing technique. And how I learned about this breathing technique was in 1993. I was in a ski accident. And so I broke both my wrists, and I was crippled like this. I was crippled like, if you could just imagine somebody, for those of you that are just only listening, if you can imagine just your hands being crippled when you see somebody um, whose just arms, hands do not move, and they're faced inward. And so I was cut off by a ski boarder, or a ski boarder, a snowboarder. I was cut off by a snowboarder during that time, and um, I was just starting in my broadcasting career. I made $4.25 an hour, and I worked 80 hours. I get paid for 40. That's kind of how it was back in the day. So I was too broken to think that there would not be another option out there for me to help me heal my wrists. So what I'm going to tell you is it's a miraculous uh, experience, and I met a girl in the lobby after I had been able to pick myself up and get over to the lodge. And I was just sitting there, just shaking my head. And she said, "What happened?" I told her. I said, "A snowboarder cut me off, and I went. Basically, I went flying, and I hyperextended both my wrists, and I had bruises, and they were black, and it was black and blue from my wrists all the way down to my elbow on my inner arm, um, and I couldn't move. And I also I'm a guitar player, and so being a guitar player, this was going to be a massive, massive problem. I actually was up there performing with my band up in the lodge the evening before, and so uh, this girl says, "Listen, I know it sounds crazy, and I know you're not going to believe this, but if you don't have health insurance and you don't have any money to go to the hospital, you need to do something. And I'm going to share with you a guy who happens to be a healer. And what he does is laying of the hands. He lays his hands on you, and believe it or not, he's helped people go from 90% kidney failure to 90% kidney function within 2 to 3 weeks. And so at that point, um, I was too broken uh, not to take her advice. And so I got the number. I called the guy. He was really, really inexpensive. It was like $30 an hour or something. And like I said, this was 1993. I went and saw this guy, and his name was Michael Stolatano. He was a former lounge singer in Las Vegas, and he used to hang out with the Rat Pack and used to MC at the Shaker bars when he was a young man. And he figured out a breathing technique, and he figured out that when he did this breathing technique, he could actually use his hands to help people with headaches first. That's what he started doing, and then he started to help people on a spiritual level and on a physical level. And so when you walked into his office, now I was, much to my chagrin, uh, I it was just a very uh, just a strange experience because I had not met the guy. I'm trusting that this is going to be my answer. I'm just broke and broken. Um, and I walk in his office, and over on the right hand side, he's got statues of Jesus, and he has the Bible there. And I think, cool, this guy's spiritually, or he's got some spirituality to him, and he's grounded. And then there was like a Buddha statue and those kinds of things. And then he had um, diagrams of the body, and then he had diagrams of chakras and things like that, kind of the woo woo airy fairy kind of things. And so uh, and he was wearing smocks, and he swore, and he smoked. He actually smoked right there. He had a huge ashtray with tons of cigarette butts in it. And it was not who I had expected when I walked in uh, to see, quote, a healer. And the awesome thing about it was my first introduction to seemingly ordinary people with extraordinary gifts. And so what Michael did was uh, had me lay down on the uh, on his table. It was like a kind of like a massage table, that kind of thing. And he worked on me, laid the hands on me, um, and then he had me sit up, and then he started working on my wrists. And so within an hour, my wrists were slowly moving of where I just could not move them at all. And another hour, the black and blue was yellow and brown. And I couldn't believe it. And it brought me to tears. And for some reason, I was able to meet this person through this chance encounter with somebody up in Bryan Head, Utah. And it was such a saving grace for me. And I was so interested in what he did. I thought he was like this God, this anointed human being. And I told him, I said, I don't know where you get this. And he says, well, he says, kid. Uh, and he had kind of that New Jersey accent. That's where he was from. He says, you know, it's not the cigarettes that kill you, it's your mindset. And he said, anybody can learn how to heal, and anybody can learn how to do this. And so when I had heard about that from him, I pestered him, and I became one of his apprentices. And he showed me all these awesome techniques to help people heal. And so all this as I was still doing radio. Now the other awesome thing about radio is that after I got through this situation of being able to move my wrists. By the way, I went another 2 times to see him. I went the next day, and then I believe I went the I skipped and then went Thursday and Friday of that week. So I saw him 3 to 4 times during that week. And Friday morning, I woke up and I had a gig. A gig. I actually had a gig that evening, but Friday morning I woke up and I was able to move my wrists good enough, and stand up and play the guitar. So I didn't cancel my gig. So I kept my gig, and it was unbelievable. So for somebody who was young and just starting a new career in broadcasting and was playing music for a living to supplement my income, like not to be able to cancel a gig was amazing. Because when I would play out, I would make $200 to $300 a night. So it was really, really, really a game changer. And so what he taught me was a breathing technique. And so I want to share that with you. And I know that we've twisted and turned, and we've weaved and we've bobbed, and and I've given you a lot of backstory. But the most important thing is that you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm coming from a place of peace and love and uh, and community. And I wanting to share this with you guys, because this is uh, this breathing technique is what my one of my mentors, Michael Stellitano, used to warm up before he would lay the hands on people and work on people. And so the truth is, I've seen him work on thousands of people, and help so many people with this breathing technique. And so, and actually in my uh, retreats that I teach, when I teach quantum release therapy, is we would do the breathing trick, do the breathing, um, the God breath. And so I share that with people. And so I'm going to take a quick drink of water here, or of tea. I'm going to share what this is like. Okay. So the God breath is this simple, and that he called it the God breath. And I believe in some yogi or yogic practices or yoga practices is they use a similar type of breathing technique, and it's super simple. And it's like this: it's you breathe in and out of your nose with your mouth closed. and it's quick puffs in and out for 20 seconds at a time. And you do it 3 times. So it's 3 passes of 20 seconds at a time. And so if you guys would like to learn this, um, I will show you, because the awesome thing about this breathing technique is you will feel your sinuses open up. You will feel your energy increase, because it's like this. Here's the physics behind it, the science behind it. Think about a fire, right? So a fire is that needs to be stoked. If you have a fire stoker or a bellows, the air goes in and out of one area. So it goes as you squeeze it, as you pull, compress it and expand it, and you pull the handles in and out. The air goes in and out, and it goes quick. And so when you see that hit the fire, that adds additional oxygen to the fire. And what happens is the fire gets bigger. So, and it gets hotter because of the additional oxygen put on the fire. And so we are electrical beings. We need oxygen. There is a huge problem with people taking too many shallow breaths in the world. And so if you want to ramp up the amount of oxygen in your blood and feel that power and get that burst of energy, this is one way to do it. And so Michael called it the God breath. I still call it the God breath. Some people call it the breath of fire, but it's like this. So 20 seconds at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and get my trusty phone out, and I am going to put a stopwatch on, or get it on the stopwatch. Okay, reset the stopwatch. And so it's like this. So you can hold on your heart or hold on your diaphragm and just feel how it goes in and out. So if you go in and out with your nose, like that. Now, here's a disclaimer is that you're not supposed to hyperventilate. It's just supposed to feel natural. So you go at the pace that you choose to go at. And so eventually you'll get really good at this. And it's something that'll take you less than 2 minutes to do. And I suggest doing it 3 times a day. I like to do it right after I get up in the morning. And I also do it at that 2:30 crash time of when I get to feel tired, or sometimes even when I feel tired later in the day, I will use it. And then I'll actually use it before I go to bed. And it just kind of just calms me down. It kind of centers me. And so I also like to use it before we go into meditations. And so it just adds that a little bit of that extra oxygen into your blood. And so oxygen is the oxidizer of uh, of things in your blood as well. Meaning, oxygen helps your immune system kill off all kinds of things. And so, um, let's see, my phone. Here we go. So just hold your diaphragm and feel it going in and out. Just in and out of your nose. I'm going to get close to the mic. So, and we're going to do it for 20 seconds. Okay. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Now you feel a little tired, or you feel a little lightheaded, and slow down a little bit. And we're almost done. There's 20 seconds. And so feel that. Take a few deep breaths in and out of your nose. Did you feel that little burst of energy? You feel that little perk? Works on everybody. Doesn't matter how tall or short you are, or how you just have to be human. So doesn't matter age, race, creed, belief. Doesn't matter. It doesn't require you believing in something. You don't have to believe it. It just works. kind of like hydrogen peroxide, kind of like baking soda. You don't have to believe that it works. They just kind of work. And so we'll go for another pass. Here's a second pass. Okay, here we go in 3, 2, 1. You can also do it like a medium. You can do it really slow. It's about you. So it's not meant to make you lightheaded. It's not meant to make you hyperventilate. It's supposed to make you feel comfortable and energized. So a few breaths after that. Now we'll go with our third breath. And here we go. Our third set, if you will. 3, 2, 1. And after you get good at it for a while, you'll end up being able to do it like this. There's 20 seconds. And so just do it and be consistent. Just be consistent that it feels good within your body. And so take a few more breaths, deep breaths. And as I said, that was the warm up that Michael used to use to help people and do the laying of the hands. That was his warm up. And so that is the same warm up that I use when I teach quantum release therapy to people at my retreats. And I also actually teach that when I'm on stage giving lectures and hanging out at masterminds, that kind of thing. It's just that powerful breathing technique. Now, the 3 things that I showed you or I spoke about, really simple. They don't cost anything. Try it. Share it with people that are on the front line. Share it with relatives and family, friends, those kind of people. I mean, this is one of the few times I think I'm going to be able to get this information out there. And so I'm not sharing it as a conspiracy theorist or as some sort of uh, you know health zealot or anything like that. I'm sharing it out of out of love for humanity, and I know that it works. I know that these 3 things work. Baking soda, 1 teaspoon a day. If you're on medication, again, talk to somebody, talk to a healthcare professional, whether baking soda is going to help you or hurt you. Um, and it's just going to help you boost your immunity by um, releasing that inflammation that's in your body. And then next, hydrogen peroxide. Do your due diligence on this. Always do your due diligence. When I tell you anything or anybody else tells you anything, just do your research. And so I told you, a boss of mine would just take a little capful of food grade hydrogen peroxide. He would just put it in his mouth. He would swirl it around. He would gargle with it, and then he would swallow it. So I don't like to swallow it. I just spit it out and rinse my mouth afterwards. And it does give you kind of a little weird taste for a little while. You might want to wait a little bit for your orange juice, but one of those things that like can be so beneficial. And lastly, the God breath. So do that if you can, 3 sets per day, and each set consists of breathing in and out of your nose at your pace for 20 seconds at a time. So 20 seconds and 20 seconds and then 20 seconds. So 3 sets of 20 seconds, and then doing it 3 times a day. and it can help with your mental focus. I mean, it can help with all kinds of things, but it also can help with that 2:30 crash of where you want to go ahead and grab a Red Bull or a 5 hour energy. And certainly, I'm not trying to put those guys out of business or anything like that. Uh, uh, Anything that I give you or share with you is just meant to help you go and get beyond. Um, your self-limiting beliefs, any health issues you have, anything that I can do to help you with your mindset, I'm going to do it on this podcast. So and part of the reason I just want to go back into this is, um, man, I really wasn't ready to start a podcast. I hadn't really planned on it. But this COVID-19, it was that important of where I had to get this information out there. And so I'm going to be doing this once a week. If you want to like us on Facebook at Universe is Screaming, uh, we'd love to have you like our page. And you can also visit us on the web at theuniverseisscreaming.com. That's theuniverseisscreaming.com. And so while I'm at it, I'd like to thank one of our hopefully many, um, our our many sponsors. And so this episode of The Universe is Screaming is sponsored by Other Pods. So you can find them at otherpods.com. Otherpods.com. So why buy expensive wireless headphones? Why spend $200 on these headphones? Oh my God. With Other Pods, you can get great sound without compromising the quality and price. And Other Pods are wireless headphones. There's an assortment of colors, 8 colors, only $49.95. Plus, you can get free shipping. They also have that 5.0 Bluetooth technology that pairs with iPhones, Android, and all the smartphones. And there's 15 hours of battery life with this charging case. And so check it out. There's 15. It's pretty cool, right? You just charge it once. So 15 hours of battery life plus uh, with this charging case. And they're also water and sweat resistant. So you people that like to work out, I know that there are a lot of people that are out there um, that have been on Zoom or Skype that you see with little white headphones on. Well, these are the little white headphones, except they're come in 8 colors, and they're not near as expensive as the big brands. But there's something that tells me that they were made in a factory very close to the big super duper brands. So man, and oh, cool. So we're gonna give you a coupon code. There it is. Yeah, the coupon code. It's Universe. So if you're listening to our show, it's Universe. You can get 20% off your entire order. So, man, big shout out, big thanks to otherpods.com for sponsoring our podcast, our first sponsor. And man, it's been my great pleasure to share this time with you. I think we're going to be getting our live Facebook and YouTube feeds up sometime very soon. Um, Man, we were supposed to start at 11:11 today, uh, and it just was one of those kind of things. It just the universe had different things in mind. So we're live to Zoom right now. I'm going to drop this podcast in over, and you'll catch us on um, all the other podcast formats, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify. I mean, anywhere you can hear us. So there we go, man. Thank you for tuning in to The Universe is Screaming. This is Alan Miller, and I'm a mindset coach, motivational speaker, and man, I'm a broadcaster, and it's good to be back. And I'll catch you guys at theuniverseisscreaming.com and on Facebook and Instagram, all of our social media channels. And man, I really appreciate it, and I hope you if anything, number one, you feel my heart, you hear my heart, and just a little baking soda, just a little hydrogen peroxide, and just a little breathing technique could mean all the difference in the world to somebody that you love, somebody around the globe. And so, in closing, I'd like to do a little meditation. And so, those of you that are a little bit on that woo woo cusp of where you like to meditate, you understand the value of hypnosis and meditation, and what that can bring. So, I'm going to try to do a meditation at the end of every show in order to about the topics that we've spoken about, in order to help you guys just kind of lock it into your subconscious mind. And so I have a technique that I like to use and I like to share. And so if you want to join me on this meditation, please close your eyes and then tap your heart 8 times or more. So it's just about getting heart centered. Get your heart centered. And so we're going to do this immunity, or this meditation about immunity. Okay, now close your eyes and get centered. And connect with your higher power. Whatever you believe is fine. You're thinking it's the universe, Jesus, God. Understand that everything you've ever wanted has been given to you, and it's all within, all centered in the heart. Let's take those deep breaths and have a talk with your body. Tell your body that you might have been fearful, might have been scared from this COVID-19, from other diseases. You've had fears that you could possibly get this. And so, if you've had these fears, just own it and see it float away like a black balloon into the universe. Take those fears and give them away. If you're not fearful of that, let's just pump up your immunity. So, tell your immune system that you're safe, that you're loved, and that you have a purpose. And get them on the same page with you. You're the general. Tell that whole brigade of soldiers that you need them at 110%, so you can get out there and start living again along with the rest of the world. So you can share the good news. So you can share your awakening. So you can get back to that human connection. Those people that you want to hug. Those people you want to share time with. Because you have so many dreams and goals and things and experiences that haven't happened yet. Traveling, spending time with loved ones. But understand, life isn't always easy. But when we share our knowledge and our good thoughts and our good vibrations, we can make things 10 times better for each other. And so we understand that, man, that this experience has been an experience to level out the playing field. And we understand that there's a reason. And we're going to ask for what the reasons are for us personally, and they're all different, to find out why that this has all happened. Have we been unconscious? Have we been unkind? Have we been unforgiving? Have we been unloving? Have we held back our feelings from people? Have we not understood that we're 100% love? And so, as we get back to love and awaken, we understand that our body is in perfect alignment with the universe. So we also understand that so many times in our lives that we have fought against the universe. We feel that pain, trying to make things happen that aren't in our highest and best. So we understand this is the time to let it go and let it flow. Look at people in the eyes, friends, strangers, see that one common humanity. So let's see each other awaken, raise our vibration. Let's see people recover from this horrible disease and awaken. And awaken with a new sense of purpose, as I'm sure so many of us have. And that we understand that this life is God-given, and these opportunities are God-given. We create these opportunities in our lives to love each other and be the best that we can. We understand that so many times, maybe in life we've been selfish, self-centered. So we understand really the bottom line is that givers gain. And through our awakening and raising our vibration, we raise the possibility of miracles and magic happening for ourselves and for others as we shift from fear and from hurt and pain to the one thing that connects us all. It's love. It's God. It's joy. It's family. Let's see miracles. So when we pray, we'll say, thank you for the healing that this has done for the world and for our planet and for the people that it's helped. And thank you for the opportunity to get deeper into ourselves and love each other deeper. And so as we come back, we see the world as it is, perfect. And so are the opportunities to help and change it and awaken. Feel that. Understand you are love. And so, wow, sometimes I get emotional when I do meditations. We do I have a group coaching program, and sometimes we do those meditations, and man, I just kind of drift off into somewhere else. And so I hope that helped you, and I hope you share this information, and I hope you support our podcast at theuniverseisscreaming.com. Check us out on Facebook. Universe is Screaming. It's our podcast. And again, I wasn't planning on starting a podcast anytime soon. And I actually had a whole lot of other plans. But I think this is one of the things that the world could use now. So if you can share this and it can help one person, then it was worth it. Then you change that person's life forever. You know, if you're, and let's be fair, maybe that when you're sharing with another person, maybe you're calling somebody up to share about baking soda or hydrogen peroxide or trying to teach them the God breath. Maybe that's not what's supposed to heal them. Maybe what's supposed to heal them is your sincere care and love, that frequency of love that's coming out of your heart to reach out to somebody. Maybe that's what's healing them. And so I'm just here to serve. I don't want to save the world, but I want to serve the world. And so when we're able to serve each other, we come from a place of power. And so when we're trying to save the world, it's all stress, it's all drama, it's all trauma. And so if you can change one life by sharing something, please do. Deep breath. And I just one last shout out to our sponsors, otherpods.com. They have awesome wireless headphones in 8 colors, only $49.95, plus with free shipping. And if you use the code UNIVERSE, the coupon code UNIVERSE, you get 20% off your order. So just by listening to this podcast, you can get some cool Bluetooth headphones. So support our sponsors. We appreciate that. Man, as being a radio guy, I understand, man, sponsors used to pay our, people that bought the spots, they paid for our salaries. So anyway, an awesome sponsor, otherpods.com. We'd like to thank them. And thank you for listening, and understand that mindset is everything. You're everything. We're all love. We're all one. We're all connected. And I would just like to thank you for spending this time. People ask me, why are you calling your podcast The Universe is Screaming? It's because the universe is always trying to communicate with us. And so many times in life, we're not listening. And so the reason for the name is because I wanted to get people's attention. Because now more than ever, it's critical to get in touch with you in your heart and your presence. So if you want to create a better presence, heal your past, claim your future while you're in your present moment. And so with that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much. And until next time, appreciate it. and the universe is screaming. Are you listening? I think you are now.
Tune in and share our podcast. Plus, visit our sponsors at theuniverseisscreaming.com. This is a Megashift Media production.